So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Robert. If this is your first time tuning in, so today what we're going to cover is the hidden cost of land investing. We're going to go over some of the costs, some of the numbers, and just some of the things that people probably don't think about, especially if this is your first time looking into land investing, or maybe you have been here in this space for a while, but maybe you just haven't come across this problem yet. Again, I've been doing this for over 7 years now, so quite a while, and this isn't a property that I'm necessarily going to be flipping or anything. This is a property that I plan on passing down for generations, you know, in about 50-60 years. I'm assuming I'm going to live a long time. We'll see, right? But yeah, it's something that I plan on passing down, so I'm just trying to maintain it for the longevity of my life, basically, so I pass it down to my kids. But yeah, these are just some of the costs that occur when you have land. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into it. So the first one that I was going to talk about is going to be fixing fences. That's what we just got done doing. It wasn't a major fix, it was a light little fix, but making sure that your fences are always in check, either if you have cattle or if a neighboring property has cattle, horses, goats, any kind of farm animals. It's important to make sure that your fences are always well. Now again, if you have a good neighbor, they would typically watch the fence themselves and take care of it as well, especially if you don't have cattle. But it's always a good idea to check yourself as well. Now you can be getting fined if you do have cattle and they keep breaking through your fences multiple times. They can fine you, or you know, worse, you know, if you have a cow or horse that gets out, causes an accident, and those animals are huge, they're like 2,000 pounds, you know, and it causes a death. The last thing you need is a car going 50, 60, 70 miles an hour, hitting one of your cattle that got out of your fence and causing a death. So it's always a good idea to always take care of your fences. Again, aside from that, if you have no cattle and a neighboring property does, you don't want the cattle, again, big 2,000 pound animals, going in there and messing up a water line, electricity line, etc., because it can get very costly. They can get their horns wrapped up into a lot of stuff. You won't believe what they can get themselves into. But and yeah, it can get very costly, and all it can take is a $5-10 fix, or 5 or 10 minutes of your time to fix the problem before it got into a $1,000 problem. But aside from that, a couple other things that people don't think about and find out later, which is kind of funny, but again, a lot of people just don't know this, and that's going to be that water is not supplied by the city. Water out in the country, specifically for raw vacant land outside the city limits, is thousands of dollars to bring to your property. So we'll quickly just take a little break and talk, I guess, here. For me, again, years ago, to drill a well was $13,000 and some change. Today, if I was trying to do that same well again, which a well, if you don't know what a well is a deep hole into the ground that goes deep underground and pulls water out, so that way you can have drinking water, water to shower, water to fill a pond, etc. There's more to it, but that's just kind of like a quick little summary of it. These things now, same well would cost me about $25,000 today, when I paid $13,000 just a few years ago. So again, that's another cost that a lot of people that I see get themselves into. They don't plan for a $25,000-$30,000 expense on just water. People think that there's city water. People don't do a lot of research on there, and come to find out they have a huge expense. Now, aside from that, again, depending on what type of investing you're going to do you need water on there, or you're just going to be doing a raw land buy and hold strategy where you're just going to be buying the raw property, holding on to it for 10-20 years and letting it appreciate and then selling? Or are you actually going to try to do something with it, maybe live on the property temporarily, maybe put a little cabin out there, make it a little retreat? Obviously, if you're going to be doing water, more likely going to make it like a little retreat for the family. And then maybe later on down the road, you can sell it for a lot more, right? But again, that's something that a lot of people don't think about, is the water. Second thing that people don't think about is also a septic. There is no city sewer, so you are gonna have to pay for a septic tank out there. Septic tanks as well are very expensive. On average, I pay between $7,000 to $10,000 on average. They do get more expensive today for the same septic tank. I'm looking at about $10,000 to $11,000 for the exact same thing that I paid $7,000 for a few years ago. Now that's also going to depend on the size of the home. The larger the home, the more septic size volume you're going to need for the home, so it can get up to $12,000 to $15,000, $20,000. And again, depending on how busy the septic people are as well. That's another thing. The next thing that people do not consider when buying land is the cost for electricity. So for me, just for electricity, just to get poles out here was, I believe, say 10.5, almost 11 grand, just to get electricity to the property. That's not including electricity from the home this way, or from the poles this way. So all in all, it was about $35,000, maybe $40,000 just for electricity. And that's not including any kind of conduit and stuff like that. With all that included, you're looking at probably about $50,000 or so. So again, that's a cost that a lot of people don't plan for. People think that people are quite surprised that you have to throw electricity out here and that they charge you for that. A lot of people don't know that. And what I see happening is a lot of people buy these small tracts not knowing these expenses. You're looking at about at least $100,000 out of pocket just to get the land started before even building anything on there. So well, I guess the septic tanks kind of last, but you kind of get the gist of what I'm saying. But either way, you're looking at about an extra $100,000 that you probably didn't plan for a lot of people. And what ends up happening is these people end up buying these small tracts of land not knowing the associated cost, aside from taxes, which is another thing. And then they end up selling it back up. They end up going into foreclosure. They end up falling behind on payments, etc. It becomes a whole mess. And that's something I've been seeing kind of more and more regularly as more and more land gets subdivided. So that's the reason I am putting this video out, to kind of help people out as well, to kind of think about some of those unexpected costs that you know, most people don't know coming out to the country. There are a couple mosquitoes, so that's why I'm scratching myself. There's a lot of mosquitoes out here right now. But yeah, those are some of the costs that people just don't think about, that aren't aware of. Again, your water, your septic, and your electricity. Again, internet, and it's not too expensive. You can usually just get a pole and then mount your receiver up there. But now, aside from just those costs, also taxes, depending on how you're going to be structuring the property, they can be excessively high or they can be excessively low. It totally depends. We can do a whole video or a whole course on taxes for land. There's different ways to get around paying so much in taxes legally. That's a topic for another video, but yes, taxes do add up if you are not going to be doing it correctly, or if you don't have the correct information for taxes as well. But yeah, that's a quick video I wanted to kind of put together on the unexpected cost when you're purchasing land, when you are looking to buy property as an investment. Those are some unexpected costs, especially if you plan on, you know, kind of taking advantage of having the property and using it and utilizing it while you do own it in the future, for selling it in the future. Again, those are all costs that are to be considered, because it's not a little bit of money. It's a lot of money for most people. So yeah, without further ado, be careful, be good, take care, and God bless. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.